But yeah, like going back to what I was saying, freedom of speech is so important because people need to be able to challenge, not all the time, you know, sometimes people take it overboard and they really kind of exaggerate it a little bit, but there are things in society and things, you know, but if the general populace of a country, let's say for example, are not happy about something or happy about who's in charge or happy about who's running the country or what's going on, those people should be able to say, we generally as a populace, you know what I mean, the large majority are completely unhappy with this and it needs to be changed or someone else needs to be implemented or whatever the case may be, if you see what I mean. That's, you know, it's, we need to be able to challenge shit because if you're no longer, if people are no longer able to challenge anything in society, yeah, we'll just be living, people will be living in fear, if you see what I mean. People would probably not even speak to their friends about certain things anymore, if you see what I mean. They would just keep all their opinions and everything else to themselves, if you see what I mean, you know. Yeah.
It's like the price of living going up at the moment, right? And everybody can't say anything about it because they're not allowed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, you know, then they put it up next year again and still we're not allowed to protest, you know what I mean? There's no protesting, we've got no say, you know, because freedom of speech is gone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so it's important that we got the right to get angry if, you know, if we're not being looked after or fed, you know, as a nation, you know. So I think because they don't allow freedom of speech because they want control and they say what's what.
That's it.
You know, nobody allowed to sort of judge what they say.
That's what I'm saying. If you're no longer able to, if no one in society is able to challenge anything anymore, that means you're living under complete total control. If you see what I mean, where you're not able to, because these people basically say if you talk about certain things or if you say certain things, we will fine you heavily or we'll put you in prison.
That's like you know, for instance.
So it's you know.
If you're in town, say in London, and you're swearing, say we're walking along swearing, and someone hears us swearing, all right, walking past, the member of the public, and they report it to the police. The police come up to us and fine us, right, 50 quid or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you're not allowed to swear in public, but then you go home and they're swearing on the TV all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's crazy. You know, I think we're living in double standard world in a way. You know.
Yeah.
Where children hear the swearing anyway. If you ask me, you know. You only need one child, all right, sort of to stay up late, watch all the adult programs, yeah, and go to school next day and tell her all the swear words that he's learning.
But that's the trouble. But that's the thing. When your kids go to school, they are surrounded by, obviously, like you said, other kids.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes you might, you know, there's certain rules and certain things that you may implement in your household, and there's a certain way that you expect your children to conduct themselves and behave, then they get amongst other children and stuff that might come from parents who are a lot more lenient or carefree in comparison, you know, and then they get that influence, that negative influence, and that sometimes can affect them or rub off on them.
I'll tell you.
So you gotta be careful as a parent.
So I think every child, right, their parents are different to the child next to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no parents the same in a funny way, you know. But sometimes a little bit sometimes, you know. I mean, it's like your two children, yeah, both of you are working, whatever, but say another child, right, neither of the parents are working, you know, and they're both taking drugs.
Yeah.
You know, and that poor child's going to school, probably no discipline whatsoever, is watching what he wants, you know, on TV because, you know, they're not looking after him. And next day, he goes to school and tells his children what he's watched on TV, do you know what I mean? All his friends, and then his friends tells his friends, and all the school knows about it, do you know what I mean? That's how information sort of passes quite quickly in a funny way, you know?
Yeah.
It just takes one child to watch something and then tell the other children, basically, you know.
Yeah.
And the whole school knows, you know.
Yeah.
That's the way
That's
it
true.
all works, you know.
Yeah, and even I've noticed that as well. Like right now my son is about to go into the last year of primary school. You know what I mean? He's in his final year of primary school, and then next year he'll be going to secondary school. And I've already started to notice, like, sometimes he'll come home from school and he'll ask me certain questions, like, what does this word mean? Or he's heard this word is a rude word and he's heard other people say it or whatever. Or, like, even last time he came home from school and he said one of his friends was sticking up his middle finger to one of his other friends, and he asked me what that meant, if you see what I mean, because he was a little bit oblivious as to what it meant, you know what I mean. His friend was basically sticking his middle finger up as,
Yeah.
other friend, and he didn't understand really what it kind of meant. So when he came home from school, he said to me, straight away, he kind of got home, he just said, asked him how his day was, and as they always do.
Did you tell him?
Yeah, of course I told him.
I would have not told mine, you see.
No, I told him, I was honest with him, but I said it's impolite. You're not supposed to do it, if you see what I mean. It's not a polite thing to do or a respectful thing to do. It's very insulting. So it's not something that you just do, if you see what I mean. I explained that to him, like it's, But I'm honest with him. I said, listen, he even asked me, he said, does it mean this word? And he spelt the word out, and I said, yes, if you see what I mean.
Because he might sort of go to his teacher and start doing that. If he didn't ask, if he didn't know what it means, he might sort of do that to his teacher.
Yeah. No, but I don't think he would. But I'm just glad that he's like, my son is that type. Like, he'll come home and ask me questions. Like, I've noticed in the last 2 years, let's say for example, a lot more of that's been happening. So obviously, like you said, like we're just talking about all the influence around. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
But you've got to protect your kids, and you've got to ensure that even if sometimes your kids are amongst other kids that might not necessarily, come up and got the same kind of strict parents that you might have, then, you just got to ensure that you kind of guide your kids in the best way possible, You've got to play an instrumental role in your kids' upbringing, if you can, of course, everyone's situation is different, so, but if you can, you've got to try and play an instrumental part in their lives, it takes both dynamics of both the father and the mother, if you see what I mean, to raise children in all actuality. And even for me, like, I grew up in a single parent household predominantly most of my life. And even though I never missed my father being there, because I didn't know what it was like for my father to be there, so you can't really miss something you never really had, if you see what I mean. And it never really bothered me, thankfully, thankfully, I don't think it's ever affected me or bothered me in any way, thankfully, But for some other people it does, if you get what I'm saying. They might grow up feeling resentful towards someone that they might not even know.
I expect it's affected you in a different way, but like I say, things affect people in a different way.
True.
It depends on your attitude.
On your mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah. It never affected me because I was just like, my mum, I guess because I could see my mum like doing everything, if you see what I mean. She was both like mum and dad, if you see what I mean, at the same time. To a degree, if you see what I mean. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm saying, I think it's very important for, as long as the parents are good parents and they're both stable and whatever else, I think even if they're not together anymore, it's very important for the child to have the dynamic of both mother and father, because they both play different roles, they both instill different principles and etc. in the kids, teach them different things.
It is all important, I think, When I look at my parents, my mum, as I said before, I might have said before, she got married when she was 16 years old. My dad was about 21 years old.
Yeah.
My dad was working on ships at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, he was working on the QE2.
Right.
He was working as a waitress. Waiter, yeah. Sorry, not waitress.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah. I hope he wasn't a waitress anyway. Hope not.
Yeah.
It could have been, but anyway. Yeah, no, he was a waiter there, yeah. And my mum, she, when she was 13, she started working on a farm. She was at school, but at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, she was working on a farm.
Wow.
Earning a bit of money.
Yeah.
you know, and she was doing pretty well, right? But then she met my dad, and my dad wanted her, you know, and she was naive, you know what I mean? She didn't know what she was doing, you know, and then by the time she was you know, she was engaged at 15, married at 16, you know, but I'm thinking about back then, there was pubs around, government wasn't great, you know, they weren't giving jobs out then, you know, people were unemployed back then, or in the army and things like that, whatever, you know, and the situation I think was bad back then, you know, we just sort of like, the war just ended, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when my mum was born, basically.
Your mum was born, what, in his 40s?
45, I think she was born.
What, a year after the war?
Yeah, exactly, you know, and it's just sort of like the aftermath and whatever, you know, and, rations, you know, and anyway, you know, it's just difficult times for everyone, I'd say, you know, and men were working, men were drinking at the end, not all men, obviously, you know, but my dad was, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And
it destroyed the marriage, do you know what I mean? And it's just sort of no good having say a city that's got pubs around it, for one, do you know what I mean? You need to take all that out, you know, to have a clean city.
Yeah.
You know, clean city of people that's gonna not go, you know, be tempted to alcohol in any way. You know, there's a lot of places in our world that will not touch alcohol. You know, but a lot of people drink.
Yeah.
Even today.
Yeah.
You know, and I think like you walk around the pub, walk around the shops these days, and there's drink everywhere for sale. You know, and I wonder why when people drink a lot, they speak the truth, apparently, you know, apparently alcohol, you know, it's a truth drug.
Well, I think, yeah, it definitely gives some people like a loose tongue, if you see what I mean, like they get, yeah.
Well, I think the Arabs did drink it, you know, I don't know the true history, right?
Yeah. But
with politics, right, the Arab politicians, they had a good drink one night, you know, all together. They spoke about the politics that was going on, whatever, at the time, and on drink. Next day they'd have a meeting sober, just to sort of like, because they say that like it is a truth drug, and when you have a lot, you know, get a bit tipsy in that, you're going to speak the truth, you know, and come out, you know, they say that you just speak the truth more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so a lot of people, I'm not sure how many people in the population in my country that actually drinks alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, I don't say it's 50%, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but that's 50% people that get drunk, and when you do get drunk, you are more likely to be free with your speech, for one, you know, I think, you know, I mean, I can remember getting drunk, you know, and you're more likely to say things that you don't normally say.
Ah, true, yeah, definitely.
You with me?
It kind of releases some people's like inhibitions, if you see what I mean. They open up more, if you see what I mean.
That's right.
For some people it kind of relaxes them more, if you see what I mean. And they kind of
opens the doors open a bit more, you know.
Yeah, they come out their shell, as people would say, you know, it makes them kind of...
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're sober, you sort of think about saying something, and you sort of say, no, I better not say that. But when you're drunk, you sort of say it.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Without thinking about it.
Yeah, people will be more, You know,
you're more casual, and you're more sort of like, more likely to talk a lot.
People are more liberal.
Well, people talk a lot more when they're drunk, that's for sure, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but but sometimes it's shit too, because sometimes people get drunk and just talk shit.
Oh yeah.
If you see what I mean. And we've all experienced. Well, I have to say I don't think we've all experienced that, but I've experienced that a few times in my life. Being like, you know, I used to go out like back when I did drink. Like even back when I did drink, I never used to have that many. I'd have 2 or 3, or you know, most I'd ever have is 4. If you see what I mean, you know. And that'd be it, you know, that'd be more than enough for me. I'll be good for the rest of the night. I won't need to drink anything else. I just drink water, or, you know, have a smoke or whatever, chill out. But the amount of times I've been around my mates, and you know, a few of them have been quite drunk, and they just, you know, just talk you to death, if you see what I mean, about a load of shit.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Load of shit, like nothing, not even any good kind of like deep conversation, just a load of fucking shit. Yeah. And you're just like, mate, like you're just, you know, you've gone past the point of being drunk. You're a little bit more. You're almost, intoxicated now. If you see what I mean, you know, you're not just drunk. You know.
Yeah,
Just
I
like
mean,
go home, like you know, go and lay down. Like if you need to lay down, fine. But you know, go and lay down or go, you know, whatever. You know.
I mean, that's one good thing I've done in my life. 6 years ago, I gave up drinking, you know, and I do drink sort of once a year now, do you know what I mean? And
periodically.
it's nice to get a little bit merry, but
Yeah.
so I really sort of like decided to give, because I used to drink, not a lot, but every weekend, so twice a week, so and I used to have a good drink with my friends, and I had my friends around here, and we used to have good parties together, but they end up talking a load of rubbish, some of them do, you know what I mean? It goes on and talking about loads of stuff that I don't want to listen to.
Yeah,
You know, I'm glad that I've left those friends, you know what I mean? You've got to say goodbye to people, I don't know, that talk too much, I think, do you know what I mean? I mean, be honest with you, I'm a person that don't really like talking too much, do you know what I mean? I know I'm talking a lot now, because it's a talk show.
That's it.
But generally, I'm a person, quite a quiet person.
And I'm the exact same, mate. I'm the same too. You know what I mean? I've been that way for most of my life, to be honest. You know what I mean? I believe I'm a big believer in when you talk, you should have something to talk about. If you see what I mean, you know, like some substance. Like I'm not big on like just like, you know, what would they call it? Small talk.
Yeah.
I guess, for lack of a better word, like small, like just, you know, I'm not big on small talk, like, you know what I mean. If I see, don't get me wrong,
repetitive.
Don't get me wrong, I'm very polite. If I see someone and whatever in the streets, whatever, and I know them, I always say hello and be polite. But I don't want to have the whole conversation. Oh hi, every time I see you, like if I see you a few times a week, I don't want to stop every single time and be like, oh hi, how are you? You know, how's your day going? Oh yeah, weather's nice, isn't it? And not every single day, like, if you see what I mean. If you get what I mean, like. I'm not going to do that every day. I'll see you and say hello, if you see what I mean. You know.
I think there's lots of different types of people out there. You know what I mean? There's some people that think they know it all. You know, and I don't want to know it all. You know, no way. And there's no way you can know it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, like I did. You know, like I'm happy with what I know today. Yeah. I wish I knew a little bit more, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
I think I only just started learning a lot 5 years ago, do you know what I mean? I just started studying about the history of the world, where when I was at school I didn't do history. You know. And yeah. I think we're pretty free to David's speech, aren't we?
I think we are to a degree. There are a lot of us out here that still are not afraid to kind of like articulate our kind of like views, and you know, sometimes it is at your own detriment, to be honest. You know, people have built brands and built all sorts of stuff, and they have been targeted by certain groups of people because of their views and their beliefs, and because they've stood up against certain things, and you know, have a kind of like religious, you know, background, and don't want to engage and accept certain things in society to be normalised, you know, and then that becomes a problem, if you see what I mean, for them, you know. So yeah.
See, a lot of people don't like changing. That's the thing. They don't like changing what they believe in.
Yeah.
A lot of people primarily believe in what they ever believe in. They believe in it.
But I think some things, yeah, in life, right? You should always be open to new information, new knowledge, and new whatever to broaden your mind and your perspective, yeah? But there's also certain things that you should have that should never change. Like your principles, like respect, loyalty, being trustworthy, and all these different characteristics that you have amongst your family, your friends, your loved ones, if you see what I mean. Some things you should never change, if you see what I mean. If you believe in certain things and you stand on certain things and you say, this is what I believe in, if you see what I mean, then that should never change. But when it comes to belief systems and thought processes and information, like I was saying, you know, if you've been exposed to new information about something, no matter what it is, and this new information is 100%, you know this information to be 100% to be factual, even if it contradicts what you believe in, you should be open to accepting the fact that you could have been wrong, and that this information that you've now been provided with could be the real deal, if you see what I mean. And now you're even more informed because you were wrong about a particular thing, but now you've actually found out what what it really was, if you see what I mean. And it's yeah.
I think the truth always comes out in the end.
Oh, true. Right.
It's always pops out. You try to sink in, it comes out up. Apparently, you know what I mean. The truth always wins.
Right. Yeah. Like I say, everything comes to the light. Everything in the dark eventually comes to the light. So
I was talking about me. I am really quite a quiet person. I'm not one of these people that go around chatting all the time. Do you know what I mean? I don't really keep myself to myself.
Yeah.
I mean, be honest with you, I think this is. When you pop around, I always talk to you. Do you know what I mean?
We have different type of conversations.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean, like
we've always got something interesting to talk about, haven't we?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Some people aren't interested, are they? They're pretty boring. And they don't move forward in their own minds in a funny way.
Yeah. And they're not willing to bounce ideas off each other as well. Like the thing is, right? I think also, right, mate. Not to go too much off freedom of speech, but a lot of people, right, when their belief system, whatever they believe in or believe to be true, when that is questioned, yeah, and a lot of people are so scared in life, right, that even when presented with new